classic amplifiers. We do mods on a lot of stuff. We build our own designs. We got anything from the Hell Hog, Swamp Art Special, Cottonmouth, the Super Swampbirds, the Bayou Bitch. We just got a bunch of different models we do, but everything's pretty much custom for the player. So as you can see, this model here we just pulled out about 2 weeks ago for Sean Woodall here. And this Cottonmouth we just built for Sean Todd just right afterwards, even though yours was done before him. And this is Dan Harden's bass amp at the top here, the Possum Chopper. That's our bass amp. It's a true hybrid, so it's actually it's got a 6SL7 as the preamp section and an EL84 driver tube, but it's a solid state power section. But there's 2 power sections, so it's really a tube amp. We're just driving it with MOSFET. And then we've got this right here is a Classic Series Super Reverb that we did for Dan Harden also. But all the amps are pretty much point-to-point hand-wired. We use turrets, the turret boards itself. We try to buy the best parts that we can buy, and sometimes we buy cheap parts because some cheap parts sound good. It just depends on what you're looking to do. But everything is custom. We do different woods, we do different base plates. Mike Morgan over here with the camera, he actually goes through anything. Like if you guys come and you order an amp, he'll go through anything you want, anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's one of those freaks. So like this one here, we do the etching glass plate. And we just built the amp, and then he decided he wanted to go on cabinet, which, where's he at? Oh yeah, there you go, Rick, right over here. He decided to do that himself. So, and it's actually got a light in the back, so when you turn the amp on, it glows blue. And we've got a bunch of stuff out there, but this is pretty much, most of these are our models on the floor, except for a few pieces. This was actually Ben Trussell's amp that I built for me that he taught me out of because,
Here's Ben.
It was Ben. So that was his, and that's a great sound. That was actually one of the first ones I built for myself. I just bought a Marshall 18-watt chassis and just tweaked and tweaked and tweaked until I got an amp that I liked, and everybody else wanted it. So, but if you guys want to hear one, I'll play one, or I'll have somebody that actually play one. Who wants to play?
Oh, wow.
We want to hear you play one.
I'm Scott. I can't play guitar.
And point out how you can put the handles on the side like that, make them easy to carry, man.
We've got these set up
Careful
for kind of. I don't know what you're talking about. You know I own that, right?
Yeah.
We actually do all of our amps with feet on the bottom and feet on the side, and that is so that when you carry them, it's a little more efficient. I always like, you just walk it. You know what I mean? It just goes right along your side, just do whatever you want to do. Kind of our own little thing. We put them on the sides, and if you want them on the top, you can have them on the top, but
They'll laugh at you when they put it on there.
Small
right. And cuss you a few times.
Minimal extra charge.
So, that's pretty much how we do that.
I love my handle on the side.
It's good stuff, isn't it?
I didn't even know they moved it.
Yeah.
It also makes it easier to put shit on top of it.
Yes, it does. See, that was the other thing, is I always carry slides and picks and everything else, and beer,
Yeah,
you can sit on top of your amp, you got room, but if with the handles up there, you never can fit anything up there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many Jägermeister shot glasses will fit on the top of a swamp?
About 24. But if you're like me, you bring your own, so you only need one bottle. You can bring 4 bottles. So, Burley, you want to play something? I don't feel like playing right now. Put that slide on.
Let's Burley play it.
I guess so.
That sure is a pretty green guitar you got there, Scott. What's the story on that?
Some fruitcake built it.
Nice lightweight, too.
Sorry I asked.
This is actually this is actually Tommy Shepard made this thing. Right here is what we call a special. We've got 2 versions of this. We got one that's around 50 watts that you don't go anywhere near. Scotty Robertson plays one. I'm sure anybody's heard him play. Don't want to, it's like what? He's on 2 all night and he's still louder than you. So this one here is where we backed it down a bit. We actually lowered the B+, You can use EL34s or 66s with the amp, and she's a basic simple tone stack. She's got a vibrato circuit that is actually part of your bias. So if you hit the guitar hard, it'll actually cut the vibrato in and out depending on your playing. Or you can switch it in or out with the switch. And then you've got a switch here for the tone stack where actually, you thinking?
I was just noticing you had foot switches.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
There's a story there.
Don't you have one? I gave you one, you lost it, you was drunk.
I brought it back. You said you want to do something to it.
Oh, did I? I don't know what I did with it.
You took it from me.
I did.
Some kind of thing in it.
That's it right there. We used it for Spurley's dance.
Vibratos, when you use them, you either, I never use mine on any super or that I ever use just because you've always got to go over there and hit the foot switch, and sometimes foot switch ain't all long enough. So I just got it to where it was kind of controlled.
It's kind of like that Valco or Silvertone kind of vibrato.
Yeah.
I noticed on those amps.
Yeah, it's nothing new, it's just what you do with it.
Mine doesn't do that, does it?
No. Yours is a deep pulsing vibrato.
Deep.
Deep and pulsing.
Throbbing.
But it's cool.
I just got a
Now-
whole new, I just got a
No.
whole new thing. That's when somebody asked me about my amp.
Deep pulsing.
Especially if it's a chick.
Yeah, but his amp actually has got it's got a variable switch. So with his vibrato, he can actually make it half speed or full speed depending on where he sets it. So it's kind of neat. Of course, you got to have a foot switch for that work. Just so you know.
See, I got my vibrato on this channel. I hear it's really cool.
But you can actually scoop some of the mids out of the circuit here to clean it up just a bit, depending on the guitar you're using. So just got an example. This one is actually set up with 66s in it. But if you bias these amps for either one, if you're going for EL34s or 66s, I've got a dual primary in the back of this with a switch. So you would want to select the switch and then bias the amp accordingly for the tube you use. But so far, this has been one of my favorites. I use one of these personally, and it's a bomb. And then we've got, of course, the Hell Hogs, which will take your head off. And this is kind of my version of what I liked. I always liked boxes, but I thought they were a little bit too trebly and tinny and kind of in your face. So I just made it variable to where you could do a lot of different functions out of it. Of course, it's nowhere near a box circuit, but I've voiced it close. So, and it's got EL84s, which box it. And then we've got all sorts of different stuff. I can't really say anything's like anything except for that it's just amps per player. Everybody's different, so we try to design them for the player. Like Sean came in, I didn't really have to tweak his because I tweaked where I thought he wanted it. He said, "Hey, that's perfect," so we left. Me and Sean, on the other hand, was sitting there for about 2 hours. And we got the amp like he wanted it. So
You did mine 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
5 times.
Where do you build mine?
You want to
and yours is actually in the shop. Yours going to have
No, I mean,
turret.
wait till the consultation period.
I'm sure there'll be a green telly in the discussions.
I want it to sound like a Tremolux, a Bassman, a Marshall,
Switchable,
a
right?
Vox,